Who is drying up the Colorado River? Who is taking more water than the river can offer? And who will we blame when the taps run dry in the American West? The Colorado River is not just a river. It is the lifeline of the Southwest. It feeds 40 million people, irrigates 5 million acres of farmland, powers major cities like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, and sustains ecosystems across 7 states and Mexico. And yet, this artery of life is collapsing. Its reservoirs, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, have fallen to some of the lowest levels in recorded history. The river that once carved the Grand Canyon is now reduced to a fragile thread, sometimes failing to reach the ocean at all. So the question becomes urgent. Who is responsible for the Colorado River running dry? There is no single villain, but there are many choices, decisions, and failures that together push the river to the brink. To understand this crisis, we must examine 4 major forces: relentless overuse, outdated laws, explosive population growth, and climate change that turns drought into a permanent threat. Let's begin with the root of the crisis. We use more water than the river has. For decades, the United States has been withdrawing far more water than the river can naturally replenish. When states first divided the river in the 1920s, they assumed the Colorado carried about 17 million acre-feet of water each year. In reality, long-term averages suggest the river has closer to 12 million, and now, in recent years of mega-drought, even less. That means the river was overpromised from the very beginning. This over-allocation became locked into law. The agreement known as the Colorado River Compact gave too much water to too many states. Those states then built entire cities and agricultural empires assuming the water would never run out. That assumption was wrong. Agriculture plays a major role in this story. While cities often get blamed because they are visible, the truth is that 80% of the river's water goes to farming. The deserts of Arizona and California grow winter vegetables for the entire country. Imperial Valley, California uses more water than some US states just to grow feed crops like alfalfa for cattle. This isn't an exaggeration. Hay grown in the Southwest is shipped across the world, even to feed livestock in the Middle East and China. The irony is stunning. America is exporting its water overseas in the form of cattle feed, while its own reservoirs collapse. But farmers are not villains. They are caught in a system built on outdated assumptions. Many agricultural water rights are legally protected and use it or lose it, meaning farmers must continue using vast amounts even when they want to conserve, or they risk losing access entirely. The system punishes efficiency and rewards waste. It was designed for a wetter century, not the climate realities of today. Next, we must talk about city growth. Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Southern California have exploded in population, transforming dry desert into sprawling suburbs with lawns, golf courses, fountains, and endless development. These cities rely heavily on imported water. In particular, Los Angeles and San Diego depend on the Colorado River to sustain millions of people in regions that would otherwise be too dry to support such growth. Developers kept building, politicians kept approving, and the bill has finally arrived. Then there is climate change, the accelerant that turns every mistake into a disaster. Rising temperatures increase evaporation from soil, reservoirs, and rivers. Snowpack in the Rocky Mountains, where the Colorado River begins, has dramatically declined, melting earlier and leaving the river starved during the hottest months. What was once a drought is now described by scientists as aridification, a permanent drying. If the river was once a generous bank account, climate change has taken away its regular deposits. There is another actor in the water story: politics. For decades, state leaders fought over who must cut back water use. No one wanted to be the first to sacrifice. Negotiations stalled. Band-aid solutions patched over gaping wounds. Deadlines came and went while water levels continued to drop. As Lake Mead sank past emergency thresholds, the federal government threatened intervention. Only then did states begrudgingly reach temporary agreements. But temporary won't save the river. So who is responsible? The answer is complicated, but the consequences are simple. If the Colorado River collapses, the Southwest collapses with it. Already, farmers are abandoning fields. Hydropower from the Hoover Dam is threatened as water dips too low for turbines to spin. Drinking water security is no longer guaranteed in cities that once felt untouchable. Rural communities are shrinking as water becomes too expensive or unavailable. Ecosystems and native species are disappearing, and all signs point to the crisis deepening. We must also acknowledge people often left out of this conversation: indigenous nations. Tribes along the river who have senior water rights were historically excluded from key water decisions for a century. Now, as shortages worsen, they demand long overdue recognition. Water justice is becoming part of the crisis and its solution. But pointing fingers alone won't refill the reservoirs. The real responsibility lies in our collective willingness to change. The US must rethink water usage from the ground up. Shift to more water-efficient farming practices. Encourage crops that make sense in a desert, not water-heavy exports. Modernize outdated water rights laws. Accelerate conservation in cities. Remove non-essential lawns. Recycle more water. Build smarter homes. Invest in desalination, groundwater recharge, and wastewater reuse. Support indigenous leadership and community solutions. And most importantly, prepare for a future where there is simply less water. Because water isn't just a resource, it is the foundation of society. Without it, the cities, farms, and industries of the Southwest cannot survive. Standing on the dry, cracked floor of Lake Mead, looking up at the bathtub ring, marking water that once filled the canyon, you don't see a natural disaster. You see every policy failure, every ignored warning, every year of delaying action. The river did not vanish overnight. This crisis was built, choice by choice, over a century. So who must answer for the depletion of the Colorado River? We all must. The politicians who ignored science, the developers who prioritized growth over sustainability, the industries that assumed endless water, the systems that reward waste, the climate we changed, and the society that waited too long to ask the right questions. The real story of the Colorado River is not just about blame. It is about responsibility. We have the knowledge and tools to reshape the Southwest into a region that can thrive with less water, not collapse without it. But that transformation requires courage, cooperation, and a recognition that water is life, not a commodity to waste. The Colorado River carved a canyon so deep it can be seen from space. Now humanity is carving its own mark into the river's future. The question that remains is whether we carve a story of collapse or of survival. This river has shaped millions of lives. What we do next will determine whether those lives can continue in the place they call home. If you want to follow the truth behind the crises shaping our future and help spread awareness before it's too late, subscribe to Crisis Lens, like this video, and share it with others who care about the American West and the water that sustains us all.